Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. I hope everybody's doing well out there.
Indeed we do.
It's kind of a gray, a little dreary day out here. Temperature is perfect.
A little gray, a little dreary, but yeah, temperature is very nice.
Well, our dear brother Robbie asked us a question about picking up some tarot cards that were used. And, it got us discussing and talking, and it got me thinking, well, we should really just have a discussion about this, about magical tools, about, should you take on somebody else's energy, their energies? Because when you buy something used, it's going to be infused with energies, intentional or not. That's the reality of things. Some of us are more sensitive than others. And I think, again, overall, especially in a community like ours, everybody's empathy and sensitivity is going to be increasing. So it brings up a great question. And when we were out in the desert, Cindy found this stone with a hole in it. And that's like so unusual. And then I was looking at it thinking, there's no way that was not put in there by somebody a long time ago. And, somebody put intention into this. And I don't know what they were going to do with it, or if they used it for something. But whoever that person was, and it might have been even like some indigenous person from hundreds of years ago, because again, we were wandering out in nowhere. Who knows what they were using it for or going to use it? Who knew what they had intended to do with it? And, we always look for little things, and especially out in the desert, different stones. And, we got one geode, and I had picked up another geode and dropped it. These type of things. Think back to when we were more in contact with the land and more in contact with the earth and nature. We would sense things a lot easier than we do now. We have to build that connection and cultivate that connection. But it was a part of our being to a much higher degree in ages past and in some societies to this day that are still living a more, let's say, shamanistic way of life, recognizing that here we are sharing space with many different entities, seen and unseen. And, again, people have been here before us. They've walked in our shoes. They've certainly walked in our paths that we are walking today. And they were putting out their own energies. And this whole reality is all about your intention. It's about consciousness exploring a certain dimension and density to learn, to grow, to share, to experience. And so, all these things are things to take in. I love shopping at thrift stores and things like that, because when I'm in those stores, it's not necessarily looking to just save money. A lot of times things were built better in the past than they are now. But it's also sensing and feeling the energies of things. What am I drawn to? It could be very, very powerful when we take something, mold it and shape it into whatever it is that we want to use it for. I've inherited a few decks of tarot from friends, that friends have gifted me tarot in the past. And so I cherish those, even though those were used by somebody else at some point in time. It's like people I know and people that I cared about. And so it's different than necessarily, picking up a deck from anywhere. I think you've got to always feel into the energies of whatever it is and see if it resonates with you. And psychometry, right? Pick it up, feel it, hold it. Does it speak to you?
Mm-hmm. So in my journey, I guess I would go with just my inclinations. I would probably not be inclined to get a used tarot deck, especially if I don't know exactly where it's come from. But I think you should experiment. You should try it. see what happens. I think there's a lot of rules that have been put in place that we adhere to just because we heard them. But what resonates with you? I can tell you what resonates with me is, I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't be inclined just because I don't know what environment those cards have been in. Negative energies, were people fighting in the area? Was it a couple who had, just really bad energy toward each other? Are they available through a divorce? Those things I do kind of pay attention to, about the bad energy, because it can be infused into these items. The items that I have that I treasure so deeply have been gifted me. Or in one case, I have this eagle feather, which is really wild. I came across it in New Mexico, and it was just there at my feet. So
Yeah, with the eagle feather, I have to actually say, well, that was, given to Cindy by my dad, and that's what comes to me.
like a blessing,
Yeah.
like a blessing for the marriage.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
It wasn't that my dad was physically there, but it felt like it was coming from his energy. And it was in Rama, New Mexico, at the lake that's there. And we walked this lake all the time when we were living there. And, we saw an eagle, and then it just left a feather. It crossed our path. It was so intentional.
It was really wild because I was thinking, what it would be so cool to get an eagle feather. And there's when I looked down, and there it is. So other things, yeah, I've been gifted by very gifted people, gifted shamans, people who I know very well their energy is good, their intentions are good, and they were passed down to me with love and understanding and protection and guidance. And I know the backstory on them. So those cases, yes, is are the items going to be charged with positive energy? Are they seeded with positive energy? You can get items that are just simply seeded, but then you put your own intention and your own guides into it, and that energy grows and grows and grows. So that's something that I've been thinking about doing, and making that, more available to people if they're interested in having crystals that are seeded, or even programmed with your star family in mind, making it more accessible to, if you're going to do a meditation, you're connected deeper to your star family. You have a more expanded energy to reach your star family. So, I even put my tuning forks next to certain crystals, and I feel it makes them special, So all of my tools I do treat. I love them. I care about them. I listen to them. When I'm working on someone, I listen. I listen around the room, and I see who wants to jump in. And then I bring that crystal in because they have then volunteered to help.
Because everything is consciousness. And this is the thing to realize. Everything is consciousness. Things we call inanimate objects are made of the same subatomic particles, whether it's our body or a crystal. Again, take guitars. It's an instrument that you can channel emotions through, and it's the same thing here. I think when you take natural items and mold them, and then intentionally charge them, you're making something that's going to be very powerful, and that over the years it'll get more and more powerful. It is true. I do believe it's completely true that when we look to Germany, and why did the Nazis go all around the place looking for magical artifacts? And if you've never heard of that there's been books written on that. It's well documented. They were looking for items that could help them manifest things the way they wanted to have things manifest. They understood this. The dark cabal that runs this dark matrix, they're always using black magic, and I would say it's black because, again, the intent is to control other people's will, and that's very big negative karmic thing to do. Again, free will is the rule of the land, and free will is what the true creator and source of all wants, because it's pretty obvious we're all unique fractals. So conformity is not what's demanded by source. It's being your own unique you. You have unique energies. You're going to be drawn to unique tools. And yeah, there's certain things like, Hollywood, Holly, holy Holly, is something that you might want to use if you're going to make a wand. Quartz crystals to amplify, but it all depends on what you want to do. And you don't have to go with status quo or whatever is the accepted norm. It's again a unique choice. I go back again to the 80s, and I forget. I'd say probably somewhere in the late 80s, I made a scrying mirror. And, I didn't know if it would really help me or not at the time. But it did. It helped me dramatically. In fact, in meditations looking into the mirror, I think I did see past lives. I saw my own face morph into many different faces, including what I look like today. So I think I was seeing myself in the future too.
So there's many different ways to go about it. Mostly is going with your gut. If you're not sure, talk with someone you trust and someone who's been down those roads, and they might have some good advice for you. And this is where it can be important to have some kind of a mentor. So when you have a mentor, they're at least able to tell you, here, this is what I have been through, this is what I have experienced, and this is the conclusion that I gathered from it. Because I do think that many different opinions, when they're formed from experience, carry clarity. So it is good to find a mentor, find someone who has been down that road, who knows the things, and can at least get you on the path to helping you understand your own instincts. Now, anybody can use these magical tools. To me, it's all about what's inside of you and the energy that you might infuse into these tools. But you are the most important vessel. So treating yourself like a sacred vessel helps amplify anything that you're trying to accomplish.
Yes. And when we were meeting the family out there in Nevada, Cindy was handing out like different crystals to all the kids and stuff, and wishing crystals and worry stones, and this is the type of thing she's sharing with them. I have something right here, and I'll have to take a photo of it. We got this in Amargosa, didn't we?
I don't remember.
I believe it was. This is something that I swear is made by what we would call Native Americans. It is clayish. It's, to me, I see this as a head. I'll take a photo of it and post it for you guys. It looks like it, to me, it looks like a head, and I think it's a little talisman, and I've held on to that for, about 6 years now. And I'll never let that go because it feels very magical to me, and I really am drawn to it. What do you pick up, sweetie? You're reading it right now. So Cindy is using a little psychometry to read the object.
It feels like a person. It feels like a mother, some type of a mother energy that was created out of stone. So this looks like red rock or red clay. It's very interesting type of energy that someone wanted to honor something.
Yeah. And like kind of see it as a mother goddess type of little thing. I think it was very special, and I just sensed that. So I've hung on to it, even though at first it just kind of looked like a little, relatively anonymous red rock. But as I look closer and sense into it, oh yeah, no, I even see big hoop earrings that are on place on this. And, it's just interesting. I do think items can build up energy over time. It called me, yeah. Yeah, there was something special about Amargosa. You could see it. And, again, I get a lot of impressions in areas and things flood in. Everybody is different. Some people are amazing, like Cindy. A little biased, but. So, this is a book that's by Chick Cicero and Sandra Tabitha Cicero, Creating Magical Tools. In the past I've had a variety of different books like this. Mostly in my early 20s, I was going down that more Wiccan pagan path, and realized truly that, whether you're looking at it from the labels that come out of Europe and what the colonial people here might have labeled things as, it's really a shamanistic type of tradition. Indigenous people all around the world recognize these things, the inherent ability of certain very natural objects to connect us to other beings, other energies, other frequencies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they call to you, I strongly believe, because I've received some crystals by some really wonderful people that we work with, and she said, I swear to God, these crystals said that they needed to go to you. So she sent me a little family of crystals, which have been nothing but a blessing. And she heard them. I mean, she can hear so clearly as well. And and then I had another person where we were visiting family, and she shows up, and a crystal had fallen out of my pocket, a certain stone that was polished, and she said, "Oh, is this yours?" And I said, "No, it's yours. It called to you." So little things like that happen, and you can hear them speak, like literally you put them up close to your mind, and you read them.
So if you guys are interested, we could, go deeper into like creating your own magical tools and things like that in videos. Again, like when you make something from scratch and when you're putting it together yourself, I think that's so powerful. So powerful. And I know Cindy's itching to make some wands and get some wands going. So, we'll share more with that with you guys. Traditionally, once you have it done, I would, set it out under the full moon for 3 days and help that energy infuse it with more energy and power. There's a lot of different things you could use the elements to infuse it. As I sit here talking, what do we got right in the counter in front of us? We have an actual shell with some sage. We use this shell to hold the sage. There is a little geode that we picked up in this recent trip out west. And, this very powerful rose quartz crystal that can put you to sleep. I mean, it literally has such calming energy. And the mandala plate given to us by our beloved friend Jane as well. A lot of these things we've gotten as gifts, and we've given a lot as gifts as well. So, I think each circumstance is something to be weighed and felt into. But for me, typically I'd want, like, as far as tarot, I'd usually want to select them myself. And especially if you're in a store and there's a whole assortment, I'd actually like run my hand over them to see what ones, make me tingle.
I think that's the best way. Now, when I started my journey, I heard the thing to do was someone had to gift it to you. They just had to gift it to you. No, they don't have to gift it to you. You find what resonates with you, try them out. It's either going to fit or it's not. And if it doesn't fit, try it again. Just keep going, keep looking. And if that one tarot didn't fit you, well, if somebody spots it in your house, maybe it's calling them. So there's that.
Yeah, I have one walking stick that I got when I was like 18 years old. And so even though it was a stick that I didn't hand carve it literally has a dragon going all the way around it. It's like hard oak. Because I've had it so long and it's gone on so many hikes and trips, it's very powerful. And, it does have a very strong protective energy to it. Again, all this to some people might sound crazy and woo-woo, so to speak. But when you look at things from quantum physics side of it, it's not woo-woo. And in fact, the science has been bearing this out. The deeper we go and the more we learn, the more we realize it's all about the mind. It's all about consciousness. It's all about your intent. So anytime you could focus your intent and really work on manifesting something, creating a tool of manifestation, that could be a very powerful thing. And hopefully it will bless you for years and maybe bless your kids and grandkids.
And what I also think is very interesting is other beings, as long as you know them, they can charge the tools for you. There's an element to that. And I watch Mike do his practice, and he's been so diligent for, I don't know, since he came out of the womb. He's a very magical guy. I mean, good things happen to things that he's around. I can't explain it. He's like, he does have a very angelic presence about him. So if you know someone like that and you trust their energy, they too can charge things for you. So that's another way you can get magical tools if you want to. I'm just covering all the bases for everyone.
Mm-hmm. So let us know any questions you guys have. Let us know what topics do you want to go into more. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. We thank you for your support, and we want to help everybody in their own magical journey. Because again, think about this. What's a world without magic? What is a world without magic? I mean, it's so lifeless and colorless. It is what we came from. It's Kali Yuga. We're going into a magical age. This is exciting. This is full of color and all different possibilities.
Indeed.
Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.